This is required at the front stage. Unberger, I see you. Tony Turley, we see you lurking over there. Nolan Mendoza. Bender. If you want your name mentioned in this song, all you gotta do is drop a $14.99 super chat so Smitty can identify you and drop you in. Get your name in the intro song of every Tuesday, Thursday show.
It's a blue button.
Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat.
Run it back, Ma.
Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat.
Would all of the VIP super chatters please come to the front stage? You know who you are. Oh, you Kurt. Mark Cleveland. The Silva Brothers. Austin. Double A. Terry Roberts, please report to the front stage. D2W Stu. Your presence is required at the front stage. Unberger, I see you. Tony Turley, we see you lurking over there. Nolan Mendoza. Bender. If you want your name mentioned in this song, all you gotta do is drop a $14.99 super chat so Smitty can identify you and drop you in. Get your name in the intro song of every Tuesday, Thursday show.
It's a blue button.
Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat.
Run it back, Ma.
Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat. Herbert's the gout, he'll punch you in the throat.
Would all of the VIP super chatters please come to the front stage? You know who you are. Oh, you Kurt. Mark Cleveland.
What's going on?
The Silva Brothers.
What is going on, good people?
Double A.
You're watching the Fantasy Football Show live,
Please report to the
and we've got some news. We've got some news to go over. Bad news in Travis Etienne land. Where are lights in the back? Something's out. There we go. We got bad news in Travis Etienne land. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over James Robinson. Where do you draft James Robinson now? Where do you trade for in terms of, what value does James Robinson hold? What round are you taking him in? What do we do about Etienne and Dynasty? We've got other players we're going to talk about. Marquez Callaway. He's one Callaway. The dude is looking legit. I'm going to talk about Marquez Callaway. Dude is going to be so good. I'm telling you right now. He looks so legit. He doesn't just have the situation. The numbers weren't just there. We're going to go over that in a minute. We're going to punch the intro. Then we're going to get on to the news. Then we're going to go to Fantasy Football Court. Let's break it down. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. Smitty. Take a lap.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show, and you are live. You're watching live the Fantasy Football Show, the only place you need to be on every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Hit the thumbs up if you're new. Punch it. And Eric wants to be in the Door League. Can you get me in the Door League too? Eric, DM me right now on Instagram, Eric. Or on, DM me on Instagram real quick. And let's get you into the Door League, bro. So, DM me now. Appreciate you, Eric. Appreciate you. Etienne, let's break it down. It's not good news, people. It's not good news. Travis Etienne on injured reserve with a Liz Frank injury, ending his season. It sucks. This happens. It happens, and James Robinson now to the moon, apparently. I'm not opposed to ranking J-Rob in like the third round range. I don't know. You could talk about late second. I think there's still a lot of players I like better. I think this situation in Jacksonville worries me in general now that Etienne's gone. You might say, well, J-Rob did so well last year. Etienne, now that there's one running back, we can get some good fantasy football production. I don't doubt that J-Rob has potential low-end second-round value. And if we're honest about this, if we're completely honest about this, and we say to ourselves, where was J-Rob being ranked before the NFL draft? The truth is he was in the second round, the bottom of the second round. That's the God-honest truth. Like, looking back at my rankings, looking back on what I said about J-Rob before the NFL draft, before we had his value completely destroyed by the landing of Travis Etienne, who I like a ton, who I think was going to be such a good player. He was a mixture of Antonio Gibson meets Alvin Kamara. He was the maybe second or third best pass-catching talent in the NFL draft behind Devontae Smith. You once could argue Jamar Chase, but now we don't know if we can say that with a straight face because he's dropping passes. People are worried about him. I still like Jamar Chase. His future is still bright, but it's hard to utter those words like, oh, Etienne's the third best pass catcher after Chase and Devontae Smith are gone. I mean, now you could have said Etienne was the number 2. Kyle Pitts, you could probably say is the number 2. But this man, Travis Etienne, well, we may never know how good he is. He'll probably recover and be fine, but he's in a cloudy situation. And once he returns to form, what's James Robinson going to look like? How good will he be? We really liked James Robinson before Etienne landed in Jacksonville. He was really high. And if I am honest with myself, and if I reflect back, I actually was very disgruntled by the low viewpoints people had about J-Rob walking into 2021. It's so easy. Like, we're human beings. I'm a human being. I have bias that's injected into a lot of what I do. And the God's honest inward looking truth is that for some reason I feel clouded about James Robinson's value. Is it because he's second choice? Is it because, like, you know what I mean? Are we not looking at this guy with a enough respect because he's second choice? Now we have the second choice there, and it's like a bummer. We're sad about Etienne. I mean, James Robinson being ranked in the second round, end of the second round. A lot of people doubted him. Here's this guy that was an undrafted rookie. Here's a guy that has no draft capital ties to the coaching staff. Guy comes in, Urban Meyer drafts another guy, makes another guy his guy. It's like it's like we don't know what to think about James Robinson. Is he liked? Will he be leaned on? Will he be out of Jacksonville in 1 year? Will he not be able to grab even half of the workload no matter what? Now that Etienne's out for the year, we do need to step back. We do need to realize that James Robinson does have the potential to be a low-end running back one. He needs to be in the conversation, not ahead of Najee Harris, not ahead of Antonio Gibson. I got a couple DMs right away going, Smitty, who do you like better? Gibson or Harris or James Robinson? Like, before Etienne fell into that Jacksonville cloudy of a situation, we didn't know that Robinson was like mid-second round worthy. At least ADPs did not respect him at the top of round 2. So let's not let the buzz put him in a place where he wasn't already, when we didn't think there was an Etienne threat, when we didn't really have more questions about Urban Meyer in that Jacksonville situation. We have more questions about Urban Meyer and Jacksonville now than we did probably in January, February, March. We're worried about Jacksonville, are we not? We all are. We're like, what's going on here? Is Trevor Lawrence is the T-Dog, the Trevor Lawrence Law Dog, going to be reset a year from now? Is this a wasted year for Trevor Lawrence? Is this going to be a hiccup in his growth and maturity? We don't know. We don't know, because Urban Meyer, this could be an experiment that fails right away, or this could be one of those things where we look back and we go, it's working. It's weird, but it's working. I think a lot of us are second guessing Jacksonville hardcore right now because of the fact of this Tim Tebow experiment. How could a coach that couldn't see the value in J-Rob, how could a coach that couldn't see that Tim Tebow wasn't it, and how could a coach who can't be about ticket sales, ownership could probably be about ticket sales, maybe they forced him to try Tebow out and utilize him for a little while. We don't really know all the details on that. That could explain some things, but Urban Meyer doesn't seem like a coach that would be doing that. I think he really believed Tim Tebow could potentially have what it took, and that makes you wonder, like, how is this coach being taken seriously in anyone's mind? How could this team really be taken seriously if he's going to actually bring Tim Tebow along and see how he does? So the fact that he cut Tim Tebow, the fact that Tebow's no longer there, gives me a little hope that this Urban Meyer experiment could still potentially work out. But we're worried. And if we're worried, we're more worried now than we were in January, February, March when James Robinson was a bottom floater in the second round. You know, why are we going to put James Robinson right next to Najee Harris, Ridley, Diggs, Gibson? No, we can't do that. We can't get excited about the feeling we have, the overwhelming, and put him that high. But is James Robinson borderline 2-3 turn material? Overnight, he really did, and it's going to be hard for a lot of people to swallow. Like, they're going to say, nope, I still don't believe in it, because you missed. Don't let the psychology behind being the guy or girl that didn't draft Travis Etienne, James Robinson. Don't be the person that can't let go of the fact that you drafted 3 days ago. I'm going to draft right now. James Robinson was right at my fingertips, and I took another player who I love. Who did I take? But I could have had James Robinson, and I don't have him, and I can't let that affect me. I can't let that corrupt my evaluation and prediction process because I didn't get him. Okay, you have other leagues you could do. You have DFS. You could go ahead, if you want, you could go ahead and play Underdog Fantasy by going to Smitty1.com. Right behind my shoulder, Smitty1.com. Smitty, the number 1.com. Deposit a minimum of $10. Get a free phone call from me. Get $25 bonus cash from Underdog and start playing DFS the right way. Best ball. Don't mess with your lineups. If you had Etienne go down and you're bummed, go create another league. Create a best ball league. If Etienne went down and you're bummed right now, you can go create a new best ball team right now. Not worry about lineups. You can draft In this case, you could have drafted like Etienne and J-Rob together in best ball. You don't have to set your lineup. It gets set for you. Optimal lineups. Go to Smitty1.com and use promo code Smitty. Punch it now. Yeah, this is not good. This sucks. It sucks, but you know what? You adjust and adapt. And this could happen in August. It could happen in October. It could happen in September. We haven't had the biggest amount of unexpected injuries yet. So this is one for sure that hits pretty hard. But that's why you build depth. That's why you grab guys like Tony Pollard. That's why you grab guys like, A.J. Dillon. If you can't envision an Aaron Jones injury coming this year, if you can't envision a Dalvin Cook injury coming this year, and you don't see the value in Alexander Madison, A.J. Dillon, hopefully Tony Pollard doesn't get unleashed because I want Zeke Elliott to ball. But Tony Pollard is the best backup running back in the entire NFL. Tony Pollard is the biggest, I wouldn't say rags because everybody likes him. He's very, very talented, but Tony Pollard could go from freaking rags to the promised land of riches in a snap. This guy would be a top 5 running back start. And so you got to back up your running backs with these home run sleeping giants known as Tony Pollard, A.J. Dillon, Kenny Gainwell, Alexander Madison. The list is long. You could throw Trey Sermon in because people think Mostert's the starter, but he kind of qualifies as that guy that's not a backup that people project to be eventually the starter, but throw him in there. Joseph, I'm sorry it took me so long to acknowledge your super chat. Hey, are you greeting joyfully? What's up? I appreciate that, Joseph. You are the reason this show survives. The lights on. Cheryl, appreciate the super chat. Thanks for your work. I appreciate you. And I hope you are able to avoid disaster with the Etienne injury. I hope that you have depth on your team, and we will get you through it. Anybody watching right now, if you lost Etienne, I haven't gotten to the comments because I'm ranting and raving. This is a news part of the show where I don't answer questions. I answer questions the entire damn time. Smitty, you're ignoring my question. There is literally question after question going through the chat. If I'm going to talk about something I can't read, talk, conduct, it's harder than it looks. Not to mention I have an entire hour at the end of the show dedicated to Fantasy Court where I answer every one of your dang questions. So please, have a little patience with Smitty. Have a little patience with Smitty Poo. Smitty Poo's trying to answer every one of the questions for you. It's coming. Whoops. It's coming. Q&A is coming. Don't worry. This is rant rave time. Super chats, jump ahead. You want a question answered during the news segment? Drop a super. And I'll stop what I'm doing because I'm about to ruin everything that you're used to, Mike Thomas owner. What's going on, MT and Callaway back to back? That's a good move that I like quite a bit, Gary, and you're going to hear me talk about it. Gary, you're spending hard-earned super chat dollars ahead of schedule because your Jedi mind and my Jedi mind are in tune, bro, because I was just about to go there and talk about this exact thing. So I appreciate your Jedi tricks, bro. I appreciate it. Let's go. Let's talk about the next topic. So real quickly, wrapping this up, Etienne out for the season. It sucks. It sucks. You just drafted him and you're now going to release him into the player pool. It's painful. It's painful. It's part of what we do. We have to adjust and adapt. Maybe you're in the middle of a draft. Think of it like this. When you're driving and you get a speeding ticket and you're like, God, what a horrible day. I got a speeding ticket. Okay? You can look at it two ways. You could get all bummed out. You can put your head in the sand and you can piss off your entire day, piss off everybody around you, have a horrible day, complain about it, or you can react differently. The way I see something like this, like getting a speeding ticket, that avoided that avoided me getting in an accident on the way home. That speeding ticket is going to change my mind. I have to let that speeding ticket create some kind of positive turn so I can do something I wouldn't have done had I not got the speeding ticket. It motivates me to do something different. Okay, I got to change something. Let this speeding ticket actually make me better. Okay? Number 2, maybe the speeding ticket avoided me getting in an accident. This, make you better. If Etienne's on your roster, go to the waiver wire. Be better on the waiver wire this year. Pay extra attention to the Marquez Callaways of the league. Pay extra attention to the Kenny Gainwell sitting on the bench. Pay extra attention to the Brian Edwards that may still be available in your league on waivers. Brian Edwards, Schmidt. Who's Brian Edwards? Brian Edwards is not only the Raiders. The Raiders, as my boy Vlad would say, the Raiders' number 1 wide receiver. Brian Edwards could potentially be that guy. Brian Edwards is great. Brian Edwards is amazing. Brian Edwards needs to be grabbed at the end of your draft. He oftentimes in smaller leagues, even 12-team leagues, smaller leagues, doesn't get drafted because he's not anywhere on the rank list at all. So he goes undrafted in a lot of smaller leagues. Brian Edwards has the potential to ball, and you need to grab this guy. The next guy that you want to grab would be a man by the name of Marquez Callaway, who's only 1 Callaway. 1 Callaway, this dude comes in, and let me just say, let me change the graphic here. Marquez Callaway, a beast. Boom. Is this man a beast? Question mark. Let's talk about it. Who here thinks it's overreacting to toss this guy into, I don't know, high-end wide receiver value? Like, if we're going to the board real quick, I don't know where my eraser is, so my hand is my eraser today. If we're going to the board and we're in, let's say, I don't know, round, I can't even begin to guess where he's going to go on the regular. But if you're talking about guys like, and I know Robbie Anderson, this is going to piss some people off right here. But if you're at a place where Robbie Anderson is the top option left, I know he just signed an extension, but that doesn't do it for me. That doesn't change my mind. I don't sit here and go, I have to have Robbie Anderson now. Why not take Callaway above guys like that? Why not take a chance? And as my boy, who was it that just asked that question? I'm sorry I took your super chat off because now it's time to address it, so I'd rather have it on screen. There we go. Gary, my man Gary. Callaway. Why not take Callaway instead of going with a good old Robbie boy, Robbie Anderson? Let me pull up an ADP too, and see what other names we can throw out that we'd rather have Callaway over. And then let's plot this man's ADP, shall we? So let's say Robbie Anderson has an 8.2 ADP. Give me Callaway all day above 8.2. So we're there. I'm not saying that's where we're stopping. So let's keep climbing up. Leonard Fournette, 7.12. What? Who's drafting Leonard Fournette at 7.12? What kind of show are you watching? Fournette. 7.12. Fournette. Callaway. We're still searching. Ronald Jones, 7.9. Rojo. We're still searching. We're trying to find the value. We're trying to find where is Callaway's ADP. This is the where's Callaway's ADP game. Rojo, no thanks. Rojo, we can do better than that. Honestly, this is going to sound crazy. But Kenny Golladay at 7.4 or Callaway? Can you guys answer that question for me? Who do you like better, Callaway or Kenny Golladay? Which a day or away? A day or away? Who do you like better? I'm gonna look at the Deontay Johnson. That's a good Anton. That's a good one. Gage a wide receiver 4. No, Mr. B. I'm not counting on that, but you could draft him and hope for that for sure. I mean, so right now we're talking about 7.4 for Golladay. I mean, honestly, would you rather have Jamar Chase at like 7.1 or Callaway? One Callaway. Why get him that early when you can get him later, especially in... Well, that's what we're going to go over next, bro. I'm just trying to get his ceiling value. I'm trying to get where you guys are willing to... This is me gathering ADP, essentially, bro. Because we don't know. He doesn't have an ADP yet. He has no ADP yet. He has no ADP yet whatsoever. We don't know where he's going to go, bro. We don't know where he's going to go. So you have to ask yourself, where are you willing to draft him? What players would you rather have over him? And then from there, Malachi, we're gonna figure out what we can get away with. So it's a good question. I didn't mean to say it was like a bad question, but you gotta ask yourself. So here, let's talk about this for a second. So let's put him right around here. I think this is a safe place. I would say a safe ADP or a safe, I guess, zone would be 6.11 to 7.11. That feels like one Callaway's. He's only one Callaway. This man feels safe at 6.11 to 7.11. Or safe-ish. But to Malachi's point, what can we get away with? Can we get away with this guy in the 8th round, 9th round? I'm in a draft right now. I'm probably on the clock. And I'll tell you where I got him. I got him at 11.6. I waited. I sat and waited. Maybe I shouldn't have. I probably rolled the dice. I rolled the dice on James Robinson. I'm in the middle of this 11th round. I rolled the dice on James Robinson. And I don't hate that I took Jerry Jeudy, but I took Jerry Jeudy right before J-Rob. I was going to get J-Rob on the swing back because in this draft, I actually drafted Etienne. I drafted Etienne in this draft, and I got burned. I could have got J-Rob. I'm being honest with you here. This is real. I'm going through what you're going through. And I grabbed Jeudy right before, and then the injury happened. Like literally in the middle of the draft. It sucks. It happens to us all. But like I said in my example, when you get that speeding ticket, you can either complain, you can either say, why me? You can say, this is why we don't draft early, Smitty. We don't draft early. We don't draft early. I don't do it. I don't do it. Or you can say, this will make me better. This is going to put me on a path, a trajectory I wouldn't have gone on had I just had everything flying smooth sailing into week 1. I wouldn't have been on my toes. I wouldn't have been looking for this. Okay? You weren't looking for this. He's gone. You can check your waiver wire. I urge everyone to go now and look. But he's probably not available in 95% of leagues at this point. The question is, are we overreacting to Mr. One Callaway? Could he be the guy? Could he be the guy you should have blown your entire waiver wire wad on before week 1 even started? Is this the next James Robinson? Ironically, James Robinson last year was the best pickup of 2020, and he single-handedly won a lot of people their leagues, and people they're looking for him. Where's the next J-Rob? Who's the next J-Rob? Who can I get? This is potentially the next J-Rob. This man right here, Marquez Callaway, might just be the 2021 version of J-Rob, even though he plays an entirely different position. Let me tell you something. This man is not just a trip and fall into good production in a preseason game. I know it's very easy to be like, preseason, Smitty. It's preseason. We need to take preseason with a grain of salt. We absolutely do. We must take it with a grain of salt. We cannot get too excited about preseason action. Back in the day when a lot of you were sharding in your pants, pooping in your pants, sitting in it for hours on end because nobody changed you, okay? There's a man named Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk was on his way out the door in fantasy football. And I remember it clearly. This is before I was a professional analyst, I believe. What year was this, Marshall Faulk? What year was this decline? Somebody find it for me. What year was this decline? What year? What actual year? I remember Marshall Faulk. I remember walking into the draft. I remember going into like someone's basement. We walk in, right? I walk in and I say to myself, I'm not drafting Marshall Faulk. I got the number 3 overall pick. I'm not doing it. He's on his way out the door. That day, before the draft commenced, guess what Marshall Faulk did? I believe in the first quarter, it was like 3 touchdowns in a preseason game in the first quarter. And I was like, oh my God, the guy still got it. He's going to do it for one more year. He's got to do it. And what did he do? He busted the entire season, but he had 3 TDs in like 1 quarter in the preseason game. And it was like Marshall Faulk's going to score 75 touchdowns this year. We have to be careful. But I'm telling you right now, my eyeballs don't lie. Okay? Sometimes injury strikes, sometimes coaching can screw me. And there might be players that I'm all in on. And, you know, their situation blew. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, my eyeballs do not lie. He could be a top 5 running back in the NFL and in fantasy football. His situation still has a little bit of risk. The injury risk is potentially there. Think he'll be okay? I do. You got to wonder, could he get banged up again? Is he too small? Those questions are there. I'm not an idiot. I understand there's risk. I think the upside far outweighs the risk, like a scale that's like this. Risk on one side, upside on the other. Clyde's is still completely slammed to the floor on the upside versus the cost, especially with the injury. Now, Clyde's probably falling into the top of round 3 because of the injury. So, upside's even more heavy than the risk. Clydey boy. But I'm not talking about Clyde. I'm talking about Marquez Callaway. I'm talking about a guy that has very low risk when you're talking about Robbie Anderson. But Smitty, Robbie Anderson just signed a big deal. Are you sure about that one? Yes, I'm positive. Push all in on Marquez Callaway over Robbie Anderson. And to Gary's masterful point, you could probably get MT the pick after Callaway. Drafting, Smitty, are you telling me, Smitty, to draft Marquez Callaway before Mike Thomas? Are you out of your mind? Look, Mike Thomas can fall really, really far. You need to be drafting your starters before you draft Mike Thomas. You can flirt with the idea of Mike Thomas right around the end of your starters. Let's say you've loaded up, you've got maybe your flex, your second flex about to be filled, and you're like, I'm going to grab MT, stash him away, and then take this other guy around later that I kind of like a lot. Smitty's talking about Brian Edwards. I'll maybe take him late. He could be my flex. You can get creative like that if you want. Marquez Callaway should be being drafted over Mike Thomas. But drafting both of them is not a bad idea. This could work out fairly well. Not to mention, I'm not telling you that once MT comes back, this man vanishes. This might be the wide receiver 1 in a Saints uniform from now for a while moving forward. It might not be Mike Thomas even when he returns. We don't know if Mike Thomas is going to get better. We don't know if Mike Thomas will ever be the same. Let me tell you something about Mikey Boy, the guy that everybody just wants to blindly think is going to come back to form. When you have an injury in your foot, this is a foot. This is Mike Thomas's foot. This is a real life drawing of Mike Thomas's foot. Okay, this is a real photograph. Here's Mike Thomas's foot. Okay, in his ankle, I'm somewhat joking. In his ankle, there is that deltoid ligament. And in that ankle, that deltoid ligament, you got other ligaments. There's a lot of ligaments there. He damaged several. In the middle, the meat and bones of this foot, that deltoid ligament, this man damaged, which is extremely hard to damage, and he needed surgery. Everyone and their mother knew it from the start. They knew it from the start. This man needed surgery. And he decided not to. Not only that, all offseason long, the Saints are not getting calls back from Mike Thomas. He's trying to do this on his own. I don't know if he's using like holistic healing. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I'm gonna put like some bean bags on this, microwave them, put some herbs all over it. I don't know what his plan was. And I don't know why the Saints weren't on top of this. I don't know why the Saints didn't dig into to find out what in the heck was going on. It's like they didn't even know he didn't have surgery. It's crazy. And so Mike Thomas, what does he do on a ligament that he needs to have surgery on right away? He practices. How do I know that? Well, because I know Mike Thomas wasn't sitting around all offseason, getting atrophy, not staying in shape. He was trying his best to get onto the field without surgery. So you know he's working out on the leg. Comes in, the Saints staff looks at it. The Saints go, nope, wrong. The Saints staff says wrong. They say, no surgery, Mike Thomas? Wrong. Wrong is the answer. Go have surgery. So, what am I trying to tell you here? That Mike Thomas played on this ankle for how long? That's like driving your car, needing to fix your brake pads. Your brake pads are gone, and you're just on your rotors, and you expect the rotors to not get damaged? You expect the rest of your vehicle to be fine? You're just going to drive without brake pads for 4, 5, 6 months longer than you should? You know you need brake pads. When you get to the Saints facility, the Saints auto shop, the New Orleans Saints are going to go, they're going to say, wrong. You need to get brake pads. You need to get brake pads, bro. What have you been doing? You've been riding without brake pads for 4, 5, 6 months. What kind of damage has this man done to his foot? What kind of damage are we looking at? Everybody thinks, oh, well, he had surgery. He's going to be 100%. This thing's going to be fine. You know, what if it looks like this inside? What if it looks like that inside? You don't know what he did to it. My point being, don't assume when he gets back that this man right here is going to relinquish the number one wide receiver job. Not only that, my eyeballs tell me this dude has it. He didn't trip and fall into 5 of 5 for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. And let me also say this. You want an analyst that won't backtrack and change his tune about a player? Then you don't want to be here, because I change my tune all the time. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'll take a lap when I'm wrong. I'll do my lap. Here's my lap.
Take a lap.
I like Jameis Winston over Taysom Hill by a mile from now moving forward, because this man Marquez Callaway is tied to Jameis Winston. I no longer have interest in Taysom Hill starting, because I know what I'm getting with Winston and Callaway. I don't necessarily love Winston. I'm not expecting a top 10 fantasy season. I'm certainly not starting him in 1 QB leagues. In a 2 QB league, a super flex, sure. I like the idea of stacking Callaway and Winston together. But this is a game of adjusting and adapting. You can get your parking ticket and say, boo-hoo me, my day's ruined. Or you can say that avoided an accident. Getting that parking ticket put me on a new train of thought where I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to be more decisive. I'm going to go do something. When you get a parking ticket, when a player goes down on your watch, when something bad happens during your day, you have a choice to make. You can say, I'm going to take this event and make me do something that I wasn't going to do and make me better. If this event, this bad event, I can turn into something that makes me better, this event was not a waste. This event could have been a good thing, masked as a good trigger for me to change behavior, figure out something new, go in a direction I wouldn't have gone. Marquez Callaway he needs to be on your mind moving forward. You lost Etienne. Find the next Marquez Callaway. What were you doing sitting on your hands when this guy was looking good? And this goes for all of us. This doesn't just go for you, goes for me, goes for everybody. These guys pop up. It's very easy to say, oh, we're not going to see a next Mike Thomas emerge. I would have saw it coming. Look, there was a lot of hype around this guy. We had mentioned him on the show. We needed to talk about him more. We needed to be on our toes a little more. We mentioned him. We knew he was good. He was a guy to pick up. We thought, okay, this is a guy to pick up. But this is what we need to focus on. You need to recalibrate your thinking. Who's the next one? Brian Edwards could be the next one. What else can you do to try and grab the next Marquez Callaway, the next James Robinson? My stockpile running back approach. Tony Pollard, Kenny Gainwell, A.J. Dillon, Alexander Madison, Trey Sermon. These guys all need to be collected and put on your bench. You need a running back store just waiting, cultivating these running backs. And, I mean, this guy looks legit. And if you watch his touchdown catches, this was not this man pulling in a football that was just sitting around. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm in the end zone. I'm wide open. This man ripped 2 balls out from traffic in almost impossible situations. The announcer didn't even know he scored a touchdown. That's how good this guy looked, pulling in the football on one of his touchdown grabs over the weekend. This guy, or last night, this guy was a massive beast in this game. 5 for 5, 2 very hard catchable touchdown passes. Not only could he be 3 for 5 without 2 TDs. This man was 5 for 5, 104 yards, 2 very tough touchdowns. And if you didn't watch the play, I urge you to go back and watch, because what this man did was phenomenal. When he steps up, spikes the ball down, he looks the part. Like, I know this sounds funny when I say this, but you can tell when a player has that it factor. You can tell when they're a physical specimen, a beast, a guy that can dominate the space around them like other players can't early on in their breakout. When you see a player break out and they look dominant and they can dominate that space around them and completely manhandle defenders and look poised, look smooth, look efficient, look the part. This man looks the part. We also heard about it about 2 weeks ago. We started hearing teammates say, Marquez Callaway is going to be good. You guys don't realize what this kid can do with opportunity. His teammates were talking about this. There was some buzz before this happened. This wasn't out of the blue. This was something that had been talked about. Okay, we knew it was there, and we need to keep an eye on the next one. This guy, make sure he's not available in your draft. If you're drafting now and you haven't drafted yet, we came up with an ADP. This is Mike Thomas's foot. This is a real life photo of Mike Thomas's foot, so just take that in. We talked about his ADP. This is Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway's ADP. Callaway ADP. Where are we comfortable taking him? Round 7 feels really comfortable. Round 6 feels a little risky, but round 7 does not. Depends who's there. Depends who's there in this range. If you're passing on a Robbie Anderson, who cares? If you're passing on a Tyler Boyd, I know a lot of you love Tyler Boyd, but if it's between Marquez Callaway, a guy that could be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, and a guy like Robbie Anderson or even Cortland Sutton, give me Marquez Callaway. Give me Marquez Callaway over Sutton. Give me him over Anderson. Give me him over Anderson. Give me him over Fournette. Give me him over Singletary, Connor. Debo? I know my Niner people are going to hate this. Give me Callaway over Debo. That's where I'm taking him. And I don't care. I'm not apologetic over it. I feel like he could deliver high-end wide receiver 2 numbers with ease while Mike Thomas is out, and he may grab a hold of the job moving forward. He may grab a hold of this job moving forward. Chuba Hubbard, another running back. Chuba Hubbard. Don't pass on Chuba Hubbard. Gary, thank you for the question. Eric, did you DM me yet? Eric's in the door league. Matt with the super chat. Matt, thank you for the super chat, young man. I also have to tell you guys, if you have not gotten your door league spot yet, you need to DM me on Discord right now. Go to Discord. If you're not on my Discord, you need to be on Discord. Go to smitty1.com, right behind my shoulder, smitty1.com. Smitty1.com, click on the Discord button and DM me if you have yet to get your door league spot that you paid for. Matt says, how did I do, Smitty, and what can I do to improve? Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Davis, Hopkins, Ridley, Andrews, Anderson, benches, Callaway, one Callaway, Devontae Smith, AB, Mike Williams, Darnell Williams, I don't know if that's Darnell Williams, and Mooney. Where can you get better? I mean, you got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Davis. Hopkins got dropped today or yesterday. Davis is looking better. Hopkins, really, you have a good team, bro. Callaway's your flex right now. You got AB on your bench. You can't really trade any of these guys high, to be honest with you. The only thing you could potentially do is trade like Andrews, pick up another tight end that's on waivers that I like, that's sneaky good, and try and upgrade, like potentially upgrade Mike Davis or Callaway. You could sell high on Callaway and Andrews for one better player. Past that, you have guys that I don't want you selling. I don't want you selling Hopkins. I don't want you selling Ridley. I don't want you selling CMC, Josh Allen. Upgrade Mike Davis using Callaway. But hold Callaway. Only sell Callaway if you can use him to upgrade into some monster. You know, if you could upgrade Davis into a Gibson or a Najee Harris or something, then of course I use Callaway to my advantage and I grab him in another league. Because you want to have a share or two of Callaway in 2021. You do. You absolutely do. Did I mess up drafting Henry and Brown on the same team? I don't know if you messed up, bro. I'm just not a big Henry investor right now. I just feel like his carries and workload are through the roof. And I just don't know that I'm willing to invest what other people are. Hubbard didn't look that to me. It's early though. Yeah, he's had moments and he hasn't. I mean, you know, I heard, like, just to give you guys an example, the week before this past weekend, where everybody and their mother loves Zach Wilson now. Zach Wilson's the best. But the week prior, I heard constant whisperings about, hey, Zach Wilson looks bad. There's rumors going around in New York that they made a real bad move drafting Zach Wilson. And then literally a week later, those people, anybody talking about that, I don't know where they're at, because Zach Wilson's the best thing in the world to everybody. And he should be, because Zach Wilson's going to be the man. Mark Cleveland in the house. What's everyone think of Laviska Shenault and a first for Judy? Can't make up my mind in Dynasty. Can I get a chat vote on this, please? Drop it. Judy, or you could say Shenault in the first rounder. Which side are you on? Let's assume the first rounder is right in the middle of the draft. Let's assume. I don't think it will, because Mark's team is really good, but I would rather have mid-first rounder. I would rather have Judy with your team, Mark, because I think your team's going to be really, really good. So you're getting Judy, correct? And you're getting rid of your first rounder and Laviska Shenault. You're getting Jerry Jeudy. I personally think Jerry Judy's going to be worth that. So I would go ahead and take Jerry Jeudy over the late first rounder, but we'll call it middle round to be safe. But it's going to probably be late, and Laviska Shenault. I don't know anybody that wants to trust anything going on in Jacksonville. Even with James Robinson's value going up, we're still worried about Jacksonville. We just are. It's really, really the first in Jeudy. It's not a first and Jeudy, right? It's a first in Laviska for Jeudy. Mooney, I like Mooney. You guys know I like Mooney. Mooney could be a high-end wide receiver 3 in 2021. Bryan Edwards could be a crafty high-end wide receiver 3 in 2021. Marquez Callaway, we got to put respect on this guy's name. He's better than a wide receiver 3. Marquez Callaway, you could still draft kind of in that wide receiver 3 range. I still feel like it's very safe to grab Callaway in round 8, round 7. Don't worry about spending a pick on Callaway at that area. You're talking about players you can do without. You're talking about players you can get a little bit later that match what that value is. Go big. Swing big on Callaway in round 8 for sure. Swing big on Callaway in potentially round 7. I think round 6 we're flirting with a potential mistake, could be made if you're not doing it right, if you're not passing on the right people and landing the right people in round 7. If you do go early, Callaway feels really, really safe around 7. Smitty, do you like Xavier Jones? I don't hate him. He's not bad. They've got Funk in there in that situation too, in that running back room. I think Henderson will be fine. It's a thumb. I'm not too worried about that. You can take the thumb off and he'd still be able to play. So, unless there's going to be structural damage to it and they got to make sure they mobilize it, which is not the case, the thumb's not going to take him out. The thumb will be fine. So there's that. Now we'll go on to the next piece of news. All I can tell you is this man's going to ball. This man is going to ball. I love Marquez Callaway. He looks fantastic. Time to adjust and adapt. Here's another piece of news right here. Gary with another super chat. Gary says, Saturday night's mocks are going to be wild. That is correct, Gary. We may even mock draft tonight. Here's a piece of news. Dan Campbell, coach of the Lions, says he's concerned about running back DeAndre Swift's availability for week 1. The man everybody seems to think isn't injury prone. But Smitty, he's not injury prone. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Smitty? Look, let me change the graphic here. Swift is a total avoid. Swift. S-W-I-F-T, Smitty. Swift is a total avoid for me. You know why? I've preached about this enough. But let me give you the rundown. And I know there'll be some pushback. There always is. However, am I going to get less pushback today than I got a week ago? Yes. Am I going to get less pushback tomorrow than I got today? I believe yes, because we're going to continue down the path of disappointment with Swift. It's not just that he's injury prone. It's not just that there's a running back by committee situation that he's got to deal with. It's not just that the Lions suck, that the Lions are going to win you like 2 or 3 games. It's not just that the quarterback is not going to move the football down the field. The chains won't be moved. Therefore, opportunities will be minimal. Efficiency will be minimal. Scoring opportunities will be non-existent. He has to survive in a game script in the 3rd and 4th quarter where the Lions are throwing the football, because this man will only be able to get you points in the PPR aspect of fantasy football. And what's going to happen if he's sharing carries? What's going to happen if he truly is the B-back, which is what offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn has said about him. He said, Swift's my B-back and my A-back is Jamal Williams. So when everybody says, Smitty, you can't tell me that DeAndre Swift isn't better than Jamal Williams. Use your eyeballs, Smitty. These famous eyeballs you speak of. I am using my eyeballs. And my eyeballs don't matter if the coach doesn't agree with us. DeAndre Swift is thought of by his offensive coordinator as the B-back. The offensive coordinator has also said he'll ride the hot hand. The offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn, has also said that he wants to utilize both backs in 2021. Coach Dan Campbell has said not only is he worried about Swift playing week 1 or being ready for week 1 or being able to shoulder the load in week 1, he's also said he would like to ride the hot hand, and there is no running back 1 essentially. And when they've defined running back 1, they've defined Jamal Williams as running back 1. So while everybody wants to just defend the talent of the man and say Swift's better, well, you could be correct. Swift is better. Swift is better, but it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think when the coaching staff, multiple components of this coaching staff, from OC to head coach, don't agree with us. I believe Swift is a talent. If Swift only had the injury risk, if he was in a better situation, I would actually say red flag be damn, put the man out there. There's only one red flag I'm worried about, and that's injury. Okay, but when it comes to a player and you're trying to evaluate how risky a player is, how risky you got to ask yourself, are there multiple red flags? Because if there's just one red flag and it's injury, we can be okay with that. But when you have running back by committee, when you have poor offense, when you won't be moving the football, you literally have multiple red flags. It's not one, it's not two, it's not three, it's not four. It literally is multiple red flags for this man. It's a void time. I don't get the appeal of DeAndre Swift in round 3 at all whatsoever. Where's my eraser? Where's my eraser? I found a little one. I found the little guy. What is the appeal of drafting DeAndre Swift in round 3? You're taking Swift here, wherever, when sometimes CeeDee Lamb is sitting there, when sometimes Josh Allen is sitting there, when sometimes Keenan Allen is sitting there. What's the appeal? What's the appeal here? Why take the chance on a guy that literally has a boatload of red flags? I'm not saying that I don't like him. I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm not saying if you draft this man, he will never deliver. He can't be a top 10 running back on occasion. He can't find his way into that kind of value. He certainly can. He could be that good in spots. He could be that good if the situation were to allow him to. But like round 3, why am I so off base about round 3? Avoid in round 3 entirely. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's one of the biggest pushback things I get. It was as bad as the Akers pushback I got constantly. Swift, Akers, and Henry are 3 guys I feel, obviously Akers, but Swift and Henry, obviously I feel these guys are going to be big disappointments at their value. 3rd round value, no thank you on Swift. Top 5 overall value with Derrick Henry on an offense that just got Julio Jones, that is now going to throw a little bit more than normal. The guy doesn't get any PPR work. He's coming off a 2,000-yard season, where every running back in history that has come off a 2,000-yard season but Barry Sanders has had their production cut in at least half. And with a guy that doesn't pull in passes, cutting Derrick Henry's production in half would be disastrous, even if he could get to that point and play a full season. I love Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry. And I've been a big advocate of his from the beginning. And you can go back to the onset of my show, and one of my very first videos ever was that Derrick Henry should not be dropped. In 2017, 2018, I did a video before the show even started. It was like one of my pre-show videos. I put it on Instagram. You can go see Instagram. It was like, hello guys, my name is Smitty. This is one of my first videos. And I just want to say, I apologize for the interruption. Maybe the voice I use is me when I first started. I apologize, but please forgive my intrusion on your day. I know you're watching, you're trying to eat your lunchy poo. But I wanted to tell you, don't drop Derrick Henry just yet. And it's crazy watching the video. Don't drop Derrick Henry just yet. He will be very good. He may get an opportunity. And yeah, he's going to be a top. He's going to be a top 5 to 10 running back. So I was asked in a Q&A. I was asked in a Discord, or it was Reddit. It was Reddit. I was asked, hey Smitty, Hey, Smitty, who is the biggest rags to riches player in the NFL? My answer was Derrick Henry. I was one of the biggest Derrick Henry supporters from the onset of his explosion than you can find. And if you want to refute that, refute it all you want. I can show you the darn video if you would like. I can show you the video when everybody and their mother was doubting him. I did a Reddit Q&A. I said the biggest rags to riches player was Derrick Henry. He could go from literally rags. People were cutting him. He wasn't going to ever mount to anything. He'd been in the league for a little while. Nothing had amounted. He couldn't get any separation. He couldn't get any yards per carry. He was working on himself. He figured out a different way to conquer his inability to get yards per carry. And the dude freaking balled. I love Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry. And I love Derrick Henry in week 1. Derrick Henry in week 1 should drop fire. He should spit fire out of his rear end in week 1 on turbo boost to the end zone. I don't want to hear in week 1 when he has 150 yards and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns and 125. You were wrong, Smitty. I'm telling you, get ready for the fire in 2021 out the gate. The problem is this is a 17-game season. The problem is the man's going to cross over 1,000 total carries within a 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 year window. Okay? He's breaching what Zeke Elliott is, essentially doing in a longer career. He's doing it in a less than 3 year window. He's going to have potentially 1,100 carries maybe inside a 3 year window. It's going to break him. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a year early. But I'm super concerned about putting a top 5 value on Derrick Henry. Najee Harris could absolutely be top 5, Frank. Don't let anybody tell you differently, Frank. Don't let anybody tell you differently, my man. I appreciate you. When your name is Swift, people are going to draft you. If your name is DeAndre Silver, what Silver said, I guess. I don't know. Silver's my man. Silver is the best mod in the world because Silver is on his toes. Silver is always watching. All right, let's get to Fantasy Football Court. You know what time it is. It's Fantasy Football Court time.
It's time for Fantasy Football Court. It's time for Fantasy Football Court.
Time for Fantasy Football Court. I'll answer your questions. You toss them out. Let's get the mallet ready. Let's get the, what's this called? I keep forgetting. I forget what it's called. What's this called again? Get the mallet and the whatever. All right. Elliott will finish higher than Alvin Kamara. Agreed. Can I get a little volume? There we go. Okay. Court is in session. This is correct. I want all your questions. Hit me with the questions. Go. Speed round. Fast as you can. Gavel. A gavel, Todd. Thank you. A gavel, Todd. Here's question number 1, technically. I have Dalvin Cook and Kamara in a keeper league. Who do I keep? I would probably keep... It's a tough one because, I mean, they're like back-to-back picks, bro. And you're going to get half the people are going to tell you Cook, half are going to tell you Kamara. No matter what I say, half the chat will get mad. But I'm going to say I like Kamara a little bit better. Smaller, less worry. I worry about the shoulder. I worry that if I'm predicting injury out of a big name player in 2021 is Dalvin Cook, because Dalvin Cook was carried out the field, like I've said a bunch of times. 3 or 4 times this man was carried out the field in 2020, and it looked like he was out for the season. Like literally 4 or 5 times the man looked out for the season. Am I wrong? Who in here owned Dalvin Cook? Raise your hand. I would love to know if you didn't worry about him literally all season long. I'm going to say Give me Alvin Kamara. And look at Tony. Pick up Murray, Lat Murray. It might be Tony. Tony might be the guy. Smitty, is Robinson higher than Hendy now? Yes. I love Hendy, but Robinson's higher than Hendy. He just is. Plain and simple. I mean, we can like both of them, but it's time to put him some respect on the name of the man, James Robinson. Callaway or DJ Moore, this is where I think he could get dangerous. I want to say Callaway, bro. I do really want to say it. Believe me, I do. But you have to play smart. You can't be trading for Callaway at this value. DJ Moore has low-end wide receiver 1 or at least high-end wide receiver 2 value to a lot of people. You are buying extremely high. This is a case of I missed out. I got to get in. No. I think he could be that good, but you got to be smart about your transactions. You got to be disciplined and say, I'm not going to spend this amount of money on the high on a player. So the answer is no. Eric, I see you, bro. Door League 2. Okay, I'll send you a message right now. Eric's in the Door League. Eric, here you go. I'm going to send you an invite to Door League 2 right now so I don't forget. And if you are not getting your invite to Door League 2, you have to send me a message right now. If you're in the league. Eric, here you go. Boom, broski. You're all set. We're drafting in 3 days, and I haven't heard from some of you. If you want in your Door League spot, please get back to me. Okay? Get back to me. James Robinson will repeat what he did last year, definitely, says Mr. B. I don't disagree. I think James Robinson can be better than he was last year. Dynasty, Javonte or Najee? Definitely Najee Harris, but that doesn't mean that the Javonte can't be as good or right behind him. But you got to draft smart, you got to trade smart, you got to evaluate smart, and the ADPs between these two guys are way, way, way apart. So you definitely need to make sure you take advantage and you don't get too crafty and outthink yourself. Okay, bro? Okay, broski? Joel, Smitty, I'm in Door League 2. Did you write my name on the door? Joel A. I don't know if I have yet written your name on the door. Let me go look, and we'll go over to the door, and we'll check it out. We'll scope it out. Okay, Joel, if I don't see it, I'm writing Joel A on the door right now. Right now. Okay, I gotta get down low and see. I don't see Joel A, Joel A, Joel A, Joel A. I don't see your name, bro. You're going on now. Joel A, you're on the door, bro. Atta bro. Atta broski. Joel, DM me real quick on IG or on Discord, please. Please, sir. Pimp Studio says Silver. Thank you, Silver. Door League is this Saturday at like, what is it? Is it set for like noon Mountain Standard Time, I think? It says in the app. It's ticking down the time of when the start is. Door League rules are all inside the chat or inside the league. You can look it up. It's basically 1 QB, 2 running back, I think 2 wide receiver, a flex, a tight end, 4 bench spots, PPR, 1 QB, 4 points per passing touchdowns. Pretty standard stuff. And there is basically like 5 or 6 leagues of 12 that will be fighting it out, total points. Cup and Woods or Godwin and Evans? Cup and Woods or Godwin and Evans? Give me... That's a tough question. Overcome. Give me Godwin and Evans. I know a lot of people might disagree with that. And, you know, you have an argument on your hands. You have an argument on your hands. This is not easy stuff, broski. Patrick says Cup or Woods. This is the debate. This is why I like the buck options better. I'm not sure. Probably Woods. I'd probably go Bobby Trees. Najee Barkley first round. I like Najee Harris over Barkley. to be completely honest with you. That's me. That's me. Joel. Joel, I'm sending you a link right now, my man. Get in, Joel. Montgomery or Robinson as my running back 2? I'm going to say James Robinson. I know that's crazy. I know that's crazy. D2, I see you. No invite either, league boss. I'm worried about having... Okay, here we go. D2. Here's your link. And then if you don't have the other link, I'm going to send it to you right now. Join both of these D2W Stu. I'm sending you both links right now. Okay. Next question. Adams or yeah. So Mike, to answer this question, I'm gonna say James Robinson, but it's close. I mean, Monty's getting disrespected. I agree, but I think James Robinson's probably a little safer at this point. Adam, because he was going in the second round before Etienne was drafted. Watch the beginning of the show where I talk about this. Adams or Aaron Jones? Give me Devontae Adams. Let's go fast. Let's go fast. Jamar Chase. Oh, no, this is just Chase Edmonds. Mr. B's just speaking. Should I trade my 3rd round pick and 5th round pick for a top of the 2nd round pick? Probably depends on where that 3rd round pick is, because if you can still land like a CD Lamb and you can get like a Herbert or a Kyler, I'd rather have the 2 players over a, let's say 1 DK Metcalf. So give me Keenan Allen and Herbert over just DK Metcalf. Give me Lamb and Kyler over just, DK Metcalf or even Calvin Ridley, who I love. But it depends on where those picks are, but you got to think like that. You got to think, what are you going to get? What are you actually trading? Zeke or Adams 1.6? Give me Zeke Elliott. If Zeke Elliott falls, goodness gracious, man. Tua or Newton? Newton might not last a year, so believe it or not, I'm going to say Tua. I might say Mac Jones, though, over both. And you can at me all you want. I'm just going to go big for the upside. I don't believe in Tua enough to really care. Like, is he going to be okay? Yeah, he'll probably survive in the league. He's not going to get washed out or completely bust. But I certainly don't love Tua, and I don't plan on starting Tua. I'd swing for the fences and hope that Mac Jones is just a baller. You know what I'm saying? Is Zeke for Adams a good trade? I'm heavy at running back. It's a good trade if you are heavy enough. I'd like to know how heavy you are, though, Legion, because Zeke is my top 3 overall pick. Adams is like 7 or 6, though, so it's not far off. And, sometimes you got to overpay to get yourself in a position to dominate and win now. Dak injury news is getting worse, isn't it? Let me pull up the Dak news, and we will go over Dak Prescott. We'll go over everything. Let me scroll through the news now and make sure nothing's posting right now. Obviously, if you haven't heard, Etienne is out for the season. That's a bummer. James Robinson's value goes up a ton. Julio Jones' leg participated in Titans Tuesday walkthrough. Troutman has avoided serious injury, but I'm not a big Troutman fan anyway. Never was. I didn't see the appeal. The guy doesn't pop on tape. I don't understand why everybody's so excited about Troutman. Just because of the opportunity, I guess. Stephon Diggs has resumed practicing in full. His knee injury is not serious. Attaboy. Tex, DM me right now, Tex. DM me right now, broski. You are in the door league. Can you add me to the door, Smitty? How does the draft order work? The draft order will be decided, Tex, on a live stream probably Friday night on all the leagues at once. So Tex 416. You're on the door, Tex 416. DM me real quick, bro. on IG. DM me on IG, broski. Okay. Chase Edmonds. Oh, we're looking up Dak's injury. Dak's injury. You want to know the skinny on Dak? Let me look Dak up for you right this very second. Let me tell you everything that's Dak Prescott related as of right now, and let's address your concerns, because I would like to know. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is not concerned about Dak Prescott's shoulder in week 1. Cowboys have been bringing Dak along slowly. I don't see how it's getting worse. He threw with authority and accuracy before the game. Jones says if we were lining up against our week 1 opponent, Tampa Bay, tonight, he'd be starting and we'd feel great about it. Adam Schefter recently, let's see. So it looks like Schefter put some fear into some people that he wouldn't be 100% at all this season. I think Schefter, he isn't fully back, may not at all this season. I don't know why Schefter's saying that. Let's put that on the screen. I'm sorry. I hate to say this about Adam Schefter because he's been like the GOAT of news. But does anybody else feel the way I feel about Schefter lately? Is Schefter stepping out of his lane? I feel like Schefter, through this pandemic, has been stepping out of his lane far too often. And the problem is, and I don't blame a lot of you, you guys come to me for answers. You guys come to Schefter for answers. We guide you. It's our responsibility to be as careful as we can be with news and information. And I feel like even though people think I'm reckless with some of my injury predictions and whatever, here's a piece of news that I don't understand by Dak, and even NBC's saying that it's a little questionable. So here's the news from Schefter. Adam Schefter believes Dak shoulder ankle isn't fully back and may not all season long. This isn't a report, just Schefter's take on Prescott's situation. It is notable Schefter suggests Prescott's injuries could keep him from being less than 100% for most of the season. This is crazy. This is speculation that I think is dangerous. This is speculation that isn't in the best interest of info gatherers, people seeking information. I don't like this out of Shefty. I don't know what Shefty's doing. Shefty's a little bit out of his lane, is what I'm going to say. I'm sorry, Shefty, but you're a little bit out of your lane right now. You are a news person that has the best connections in the NFL, but are you a predictive analyst? I don't think so. I know that sounds bold and arrogant of me, but I trust predicting and projecting something myself more than Schefter. Schefter has the connection. Schefter can break the news. I have nothing on Schefter in terms of having a source or breaking news. I don't break news. I react to news. I'm different than Schefter. I'm a predictive analyst. I react to news. I don't break it. I may get a call from time to time. I've gotten scoop before that was ahead of the industry, but I don't care about that. I'm not trying to break it. Like when Etienne's out for the year, all these people on Instagram, everyone, Etienne's out for the year. Just wanted to tell you, like none of us know. We've all heard it. What you want to hear from me, why you're here, why you are here is to find out what the ramifications are of the whole thing. What's going to happen to James Robinson? What's going to happen to the passing attack? What's going to happen to everybody involved? That's my job. My job isn't to tell you Etienne's out. You've heard by now. Your grandma told you. Your mom woke you up from your nappy poo, shook you awake and said, Morgan, get up. By the way, Etienne's out for the season. Your cereal's getting cold. And you roll out from the basement. You climb up your stairs in your pajamas that you wore for 3 straight days and you haven't showered at all. You go to your bowl of cereal. ESPN's on. Etienne's out for the year. And then you find out that way. You don't find out. I'm not here to tell you Etienne's hurt. I'm here to tell you what the heck happened. I'm here to tell you what's going to happen. So Dak Prescott, a lot of speculation that I don't like. out of Shefty. What is going on, Shefty? Where is this coming from? He's no doctor. And yeah, you might say, Smitty, either are you. But actually, I am the closest thing to a non-doctor you will find, because I'm all over injury and have been covering injury for 19 straight years, predicting what's going to happen to players. So, yeah, I know some of the injury people out there are pretty good too. I feel like I bring a lot to the table when it comes to breaking down an injury and trying to predict injury and try to avoid it. Because there's a lot of injuries that I've seen. I've done more to my knees than anybody I know. And so knee injuries, I feel like I have on point. What are you going to do? Vag says tight end whisperer. Correct. Chase Edmonds for Mike Thomas and Carter. Give me Mike Thomas and Michael Carter all day long. All day long, bro. I take Michael Carter over Chase Edmonds probably. It's arguable. I don't blame you if you like Chase Edmonds, but I'm in Arizona, and this is a messy situation. Not to mention Chase Edmonds can't stay healthy. Not to mention James Conner could take the job. Not to mention I don't know that the running back will be productive in Arizona no matter who it is, even if they lean on one guy. Chase Edmonds had his opportunity. He had his opportunity when Drake got hurt last year. They still didn't want to use Chase Edmonds. So I give me Michael Carter, who could be better than him easily, and then you get Mike Thomas in case. Sure. Tex, I'm gonna look for your DM, bro. I'm looking for you, Tex. Tex, where are you? Tex. Any updates on Mike Thomas? No. Well, and we're gonna find out, you know what I mean? Who's gonna tell us about Mike Thomas's injury? We didn't hear crap about it all year last year. We didn't hear crap about his non-surgery, and that's what concerns me. You can't count on anything relating to Mike Thomas, especially with updates, especially if they're coming from Mike Thomas. No, they love Chase this year. They said they want him to get him the ball more this year, but Kyler Murray is what worries me. They may want to get him the ball more, bro, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Not to mention, he can't stay healthy. Chase Edmonds can't stay healthy. I like him. He's a pretty talented guy, but this offense isn't going to utilize him all over the field. It's going to be up the gut like Drake. Drake was a miss of mine. I admit. Take a lap, Smitty. We knew there was risk. Even on a lot of my Drake takes, I tell you, he's either going to be a nothing burger or top 5 running back. Arizona doesn't use the running back like they should. They don't lean on Drake. They didn't lean on Drake as a passer. They probably won't lean on Chase Edmonds as a pass catching back. Doobie says 130 people watching, only 70 thumbs up. Wipe your feet, ladies and gentlemen. Giving Smitty a thumbs up. It helps Smitty's channel grow, which in turn helps us. Doobie speaking facts. Doobie wants a meme. He wants a GIF, an animated GIF that looks like this. Doobie wants a GIF. Doobie, make this a GIF. Connor is clearly the one they can't stay healthy. I mean, they both can't, bro. I don't know about clearly. They both clearly can't stay healthy. Arizona, I'm in Arizona, bro. I'm dialed in. I'm dialed into Arizona. It's like, bro, I get the phone call. Hey, we're not going Najee Harris. I slam it down. I get upset. We should have taken Najee Harris. We could have done the ground and pound and got Kyler Murray all kinds of room and time and bought him the ability to escape without getting chased down and hit all the time. Kyler Murray staying healthy is a concern because we don't have an efficient and appropriate rushing game to combat the defensive scheming that will probably be unleashed upon the man named Kyler Murray that can barely see over the offensive line. There's a reason Kyler Murray rolls outside the pocket. It isn't because he just loves it. He's learned to love it because he can't see over the line. So Kyler rolls out without a dangerous running game, without dangerous running backs like Najee Harris. We are not going to intimidate defenses into scheming any different. They're going to shadow Kyler. Kyler's not going to have as much room. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Sometimes I feel like a fantasy analyst like myself can see things a coach can't. And when you draft a player like Najee Harris and you can look at it from a productive standpoint, an end point. What's your end point? What kind of production are you getting? It's mind-boggling that a coach doesn't say, oh, let's take not only one of the best running backs to come out of college for a while. A lot of people will debate that on Najee Harris, but he's super talented. Super talented. Not only were we going to pass on that, we're going to take a guy named Collins a round and a half early and botch the entire NFL draft is what we're going to do. Instead of drafting a guy named Najee Harris, who would have opened this offense up tremendously. Take a lap, Arizona Cardinals, for making a huge mistake. Edmonds is a top 20 back, and Connor will be a non-factor. That might be the case, Brian. You could also see Eno Benjamin in there, at some point. Very tough to say. Kyler Murray runs the ball better than most running backs. He does. He does. But imagine him with Najee Harris and defenses trying to decide which fork in the road they got to go down. Okay, is it a handoff, play action? What's going on? Oh, Najee doesn't have it. There's Kyler. There went Kyler. Kyler went running that way. Like it's different than, oh, there's a plotter. There's little James Conner. let's let our one LB get him. I'm gonna go ahead and shadow Kyler. Like, we're not scared of Connor or Edmonds. No one is. Smitty, will you do a triple stack Herbert, Allen, Eckler? Elgin, I mean, let's see where we're plotting them on an ADP or on a draft board, because that's what matters. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket on an offense. Even like KC, because you could get taken out. The question is, where do these guys go, and does it make sense? So if you talk about Keenan Allen could go in round 4. So Keenan Allen, Eckler could go in round 2, the top of 2, let's say. I know you might not have these picks, but I'm just giving you an example. And then more times than not, you're going to be able to get Herbert around 6. So Herbs. So my answer to you initially would have been, I don't know if I like the idea, but the fact that you're not spending your 1 or your 3 or your 5 on this stack, this triple stack, it doesn't, I think, impact you as greatly as doing it with like one offense and spending a lot of your high, like you have your first rounder still untouched by this stack. So it could work out. I don't know that it'd be my favorite approach, but it certainly won't hamper you as much as it would if you're spending your first and second rounder on the stack and the offense does bad. So if you got Kelsey and Hill as an example, or Kelsey and Hill and Mahomes or something, then you're completely dependent on that offense, because you've got your first, your second, and your third round picks tied to it, and your fourth, fifth, and sixth round picks probably can't carry you. But in this case, you can have your first rounder still carry you, your third rounder, your fifth rounder, so it won't impact you as much as it would in other scenarios. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an approval with the contingency that you nail the rest of your draft, Watkins. And that's not a request. You need to go out and do it. You need to go out and slam your draft, bro. What about triple stack Zeke, Lamb, Prescott? Let's take a look at the triple stack on that. Where are you getting Zeke Elliott in round 1? Where are you getting Dak? Where are you getting Lamb? Let's see if we like this. Now, the one thing I'll say about this offense, not that I don't feel the same way pretty much about the Chargers. I think the Chargers will be fire. Dak Prescott's probably going to cost you somewhere in a 5 to 6 round range pick. Let's put it at 6. Okay, so we'll say 6th rounder. So Dak's going to cost you a 6th rounder. CeeDee Lamb's going to cost you a 3rd rounder. So Lamb, Dak, and then Elliott is going to cost you a 1st rounder. So Zeke. So that leaves you your 2nd and your 3rd and your 5th to kind of contend if, let's say, the Cowboys offense blows goats one week, which they will blow goats less than most offenses. Like, Cowboys will do well pretty much every week, because if Dak's healthy, now Dak getting hurt could screw you. Like, this is where I don't really love the idea of triple stacking anything. If Dak goes down, which isn't that crazy of a thought, the guy has an ankle that's been reconstructed in a way that if he gets rolled on, it's probably going to break in half. I don't care how healthy he looks or how efficient he looks. He can function at 100% in terms of production, but have a lot of serious risk of that ankle being rolled on, and then him being out for the year. And then what happens to Elliott? What happens to Lamb? Their values plummet. But I will say that given that the Cowboys will probably be passing so much and be scored on so much, most weeks their offense is going to just they're going to unleash every single week a bunch of fire onto the field. So second, third, and fifth rounders, I mean, you're talking about like a Justin Jefferson. You're talking about a potential, this is round 4. Potential, I don't know, like Keenan Allen. So JJ Keenan Allen. And then, I don't know what we're talking here. That's a lot of firepower to still combat a bad week, but I just don't target it. But it's not horrible. You're not putting yourself in a bind, if you know what I mean. Where do you rank Thomas in Dynasty? That is a great question, Colin. A question that I feel like none of us have a real good feel or answer for, to be completely honest with you, broski. I could shoot fire out of my rear end, smoke out of my rear end, and come up with an answer for you just because I want to have an answer, or I could tell you I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe I've got him ranked around a wide receiver 3, and I don't know where that will fall. But push comes to shove in a dynasty draft, I'm not sure I'm ready to say he's going to come back at all, bro. I don't think I like his value much at all right now anywhere. He's got to be a bench player for you. Or at least if you're taking him like as your final starting flex spot in a dynasty league, you get enough value out of some other guys down the way that you feel good about doing it. But I'm not going to sign off on him being one of your starters in a dynasty. I mean, do you draft Callaway over him? You might. You might draft Callaway over him. AB is a wide receiver even with Evans and Godwin healthy. In your opinion, one of those guys is going to get banged up. So I like him as a fourth wide receiver in fantasy, and then when he is starting, because Godwin and Evans will probably miss a game together in 2021. That's how likely these guys are to get banged up. So I'm going to go ahead and do a, I'm going to go ahead and give a, let me put Cord over here a little bit bigger. Here we go. Fantasy Court, baby. I'm going to go ahead and say AB wide receiver 4 with a whole lot of upside for every game that he can start. And he'll start a few of them. He'll start a grip of them. All right, Joel A, I'll remove you from Door League, the other Door League. Appreciate it. Okay, who's this year's James Robinson? I'm going to say, you're talking about coming out of nowhere, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that, I would probably say, A.J. Dillon, even though it doesn't fit the bill for exactly what you're describing. I'm going to probably say A.J. Dillon just feels safe. Like, A.J. Dillon's going to score 8 to 10 touchdowns potentially, even with Aaron Jones not missing a single game. But if Hawkins got released, Ultimate. So Hawkins is out. I know he had a lot of appeal to a lot of you, but he was released. He's cut. He's just not on the roster anymore, bro. He could get picked up somewhere else, but that's out. Tone says Eno Benjamin. So Javonte Williams, the new J-Rob, says overcome, but I think he's asking, I agree with you, but I think he's asking for a deeper guy. Like, if I was going to pick a guy off of ADP, like in the 9th, 10th round range, Tony Pollard is in round 9. Alexander Madison's in round 10. Xavier Jones is in round 11. Giovanni Bernard, Chuba Hubbard. Stevenson for the Patriots could be one. He's going in round 13. Kenneth Gainwell, 14 rounder. You want the next? Here, I'll give it to you, bro. You want it? You got it. Here you go. Kenny Gainwell. You want it? Here you go. Gainwell. Smitty, who's the next James Robinson? Kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he's not out of nowhere, but 14th round feels pretty out of nowhere to me. I don't know what you're saying, but 14th, you can't be known if you're getting drafted in the 14th round. So give me Kenny Gainwell. Final answer in terms of deep guy that no one expected to drop fire. Like Javonte Williams, we expect to drop fire like this. But Kenny Gainwell is going in the 14th round. Kenny Gainwell is the answer. Pick two. Henderson, Mostert, A.J. Dillon. Well, first of all, I think you mean to say pick one, Fantasy Dad, because A.J. Dillon shouldn't even be in this conversation. He needs to be on your bench waiting. You don't decide between A.J. Dillon and Mostert and Henderson. A.J. Dillon decides between you and who he wants to play for, Fantasy Dad. So your question should say, pick one between Henderson and Mostert. And my answer is Henderson. Mostert can't stay healthy. Trey Sermon's the answer anyway. So get Dillon out of this conversation and put him safely nestled away on your bench, Fantasy Dad. And take a lap for disrespecting A.J. Dillon.
Take a lap.
But I love the question anyway, Fantasy Dad. And you know I'm just messing with you, broski. Where's my mallet? Case closed. Gainwell, Roundtree, Stevenson and Gainwell I like a lot. Since you're down on Henry, not down on Henry, I wouldn't say I'm down on Henry. I'm just predicting his amazingness, which he will be for a big string of games to come to an end. Do you like Evans really late in Dynasty? I mean, maybe. It depends how deep, bro. It depends how deep. Do you think Mostert could be a late round gem? He's not a late round gem, though. He's going before Sermon. He's getting drafted early. Like, on average, he's going way earlier than he should be, so he's not a late round gem. He's going early. And a draft I'm in right now, people are just not in the know. They think he's the guy still. He gets one person in your league is going to think he's the guy. Mostert went in this draft that I'm currently in right now in round 13. Mostert went. Where'd he go? Mostert went at pick 8.4. And I took Sermon at 8.5. So the guy in my draft, my boy Yarks, took Mostert, and I took the real starter and Sermon the pick after. So Mostert's sometimes going earlier than Sermon, and it made me think I better get Sermon. And so I drafted him. Clyde, total avoid, looks injury prone, says Roger. Roger, I don't blame you for wanting to avoid Clyde. I don't blame you. And it depends on your options. Like, you could give me the same argument that I spit at you all day long and say, hey, I like the guys around Clyde better than Clyde, so I'm avoiding Clyde. I could understand that. I myself want shares of Clyde in 2021 because I think he could drop straight top 5 fire. Is there concern? Yes. Is there injury risk? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm willing to take it because his upside is so huge. Jerick McKinnon is a late draft gem. He has never stayed healthy, though. Yeah, McKinnon is such an unlikely guy to stay healthy at this stage in his career. Being older, your body breaks down as you get older, especially at the running back position. Only Frank Gore has proved that to be false. Only Frank Gore has proved that to be wrong. Only Frank Gore. So I think we're done with Fantasy Court for right now. I don't know what to tell you guys. Other than we've got a lot of players in 2021. Tex, did you DM me yet? We got a lot of players in 2021 that are getting overdrafted, underdrafted. I've got a draft right in front of me right here that I'm going to review some things. In this draft I'm looking at now, a couple interesting things is Mixon still going at 2.5 to 2.8. He got taken at 2.8 here. I feel like Diggs is a steal half the time and not half the time. Diggs going at 2.5, 2.2 steal. Diggs is a first round talent to me. Diggs is about as low risk as it gets as your second drafted player. Diggs to me can drop straight fire in 2021. And I think Diggs is going to be flirting with the number 1 or number 2 overall wide receiver spot. If you can land Diggs as your wide receiver 1 in the second round, or if you go wide receiver, but if you land Diggs in round 2, you have flexibility that in hindsight, people are going to be jealous about. They're going to go, how do you get the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver as your second drafted player? Why do you have Elliott and Diggs on the same team? You have potentially 2 first-round picks in hindsight, looking back come week 5, week 6, when we're reflecting back on value and we say, how the hell did you get that team? I love Diggs. DK 2.7 to 2.8 I'm looking at lately. Ridley falling to like 18 to 24 overall. Ridley's the guy that apparently at some points you can get at the turn in your draft. You can sometimes get him at the turn. I don't understand that. I don't understand how the guy that gets Christian McCaffrey at 1.1 has a real strong shot at getting Calvin Ridley at 2.12. How is Calvin Ridley the second player to the guy that owns Christian McCaffrey? It's unfair. And if you got the 1.1, you have a huge advantage. You better not screw it up. You have a lot has been put on your plate, your shoulders. You have a lot of responsibility on your plate. When you get the 1.1, you can't mess it up, or you're it's shameful. It's shameful. It's shameful. I wish I had a camera angle for the bell, with the chain bell. Absolute shame. Where are we at? Justin Jefferson falling to 3.1 and 3.5 on the regular is really good value. I love JJ at that range. Give me Justin Jefferson all day long as my third drafted player at the top of 3. I don't hesitate to pull the trigger. You could put running backs there, and I'm still gonna be taking JJ probably over them. Any running backs that probably fall, even like J.K. Dobbins. I like J.K. Dobbins a lot, but give me JJ. Give me Ridley and JJ at the turn, and I'm ear to ear. My grin is ear to ear. Christian McCaffrey 1.1, Ridley 2.12, Justin Jefferson 3.1. Absolutely love it. CeeDee Lamb still falling. Like, sometimes you get him as your 4th drafted player. It's crazy. I know a lot of you don't think that it can happen because in your world, he's not going that late. But I'm telling you right now, there are so many people that DM me and text me through my Hey Smitty service, which you can text me anytime, heysmitty.com, right here, heysmitty.com. Text me. I have a one-on-one text advice service. Order it. Let's talk about trades, lineup advice, you name it. I can't tell you how many messages I get on the daily of, hey, because everyone's drafting right now. I got all the messages in the world on drafts. I got Lamb at 4.1. I got Lamb at 4.5. Hey, Smitty, I'm in a grandma league with my family and friends. They have no idea what's going on because they think Amari Cooper's the number 1 wide receiver in Dallas. I got Lamb at 4.8. You would be shocked at some of the stuff you still hear and see. So I get it. Lamb's going at 3.2, 3.4 for a lot of us, and it sucks, but he's still worth it. He still could be a top 5 wide receiver. I've been saying it since January. It's getting popular now, though. It's getting real popular now. Josh Allen, same thing. In your world, not everything revolves around you. In your world, he might go at freaking, I don't know. He might go at freaking 3.1 or 2.7. But in some cases, he's going in the 4th round still, and it's absolute madness. I would take Josh Allen anywhere from mid-3rd round on depending on if like CD Lamb's there or J.K. Dobbins, I would course correct. If my plan of attack, loose base plan, because no one should go into your draft cementing in a plan of attack because things change. If you go, I hate the DMs that go, Smitty, I'm going to go running back 1, and then I'm going to go wide receiver 2, my second pick, wide receiver. Then I'm going wide receiver at the three pick, my third rounder, and then I'm going to come back and go quarterback at 4. And you think that's smart? Is that smart? No, Bill, it's not smart. I mean, you can plan. You could say, hey, I'm looking at Jefferson, Ridley, JK at my 3.1. Like, of course, like that's smart. That's smart. But don't lock into a position before you know even what's there. That's like saying, when I get to the restaurant, I'm going to take an appetizer on page 1, no matter what it is. I'm going to take a $6 appetizer. Then I'm going to take a $4 drink. I'm not going to take a $5 drink or a $3 drink. I'll only take a $4 drink. And then I'm taking a burger instead of a steak, no matter what the price is. Like maybe there's a special. Maybe there's a manager special on the prime rib. And you're just going to lock into a hamburger? Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Don't set on anything. You don't know what could happen, what can unfold. Should I go RB, wide receiver? I hate that question. The answer is no. No, you could go RB, wide receiver, but don't set into that. Don't set into that at all. Eat prime rib. Yeah, I got hair all over from the girls, man. I don't know who here lives with. I find hair everywhere. I find hair this long in my armpit, inside my shirt. I'm like, what is this? And I pull on it, and it's this long ass hairball because I live with nothing but women in the house. And I have hair. I'm surrounded in hair. Sometimes I have it like around my neck, and I gotta grab it and like break it. Who's with me? Who has to deal with that on a daily basis? Drop a hand emoji if you are dealing with it. Now, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying there's a lot of hair wrapped around my neck after the laundry comes out of the dryer. And you can't see it until you're wearing the shirt. You can't identify where that hairball is. It's just literally like a hair. I'm wearing a hair necklace. It's in my shirt. It's in my shirt. I'll literally find one and pull it out of my shirt. It's like a magic trick. Trey Sermon. Baked In Boys knows what I'm talking about. Trey Sermon's going in round 8 in a couple drafts recently. I love it. I'll take Trey Sermon all day there. Michael Carter's getting no respect right now in the 9th round. Michael Carter could be a top. Michael Carter could be as good as. I'm going to be careful saying this, but maybe he's as good as James Robinson. Like, he could be that good. Like, there's no respect. Derek knows what I'm talking about. No respect at all for Michael Carter right now. Just because he's not, like, locked into anything. He's a rookie. He's going to get eased in. He could literally be a potential, like, round 2 running back value in retrospect. Like, oh, yeah, wow, what a steal. Like, Michael Carter is a known commodity, a potentially, locked-in starter eventually. We all feel that way about him. But he's going around 8, 9, 10. Like, it's crazy. Michael Carter, I've gotten in 10. I've gotten him in 8. I've reached for him probably too early in 8 because maybe he would have fallen to 9. Michael Carter has so much upside. Michael Carter could be the next James Robinson. And I can say that because he's fallen in the 9th or 10th round. That's pretty deep. Kenny Gainwell more so in like 14. Pollard, Madison, AJ Dillon, Sermon. All these guys have win-a-league potential. And Michael Carter is no different. I love Carter. I love Michael Carter. What's up, Cat Fan? I actually believe Deontay Johnson will be a top 10 wide receiver this year, says Chosen. He could, bro. I mean, Big Ben, if Big Ben stays healthy, he could force feed him targets like he did last year. I'm under the assumption that Big Ben won't hold up. I saw Big Ben deteriorate last year. I don't think him getting older just because he's rejuvenated and refreshed doesn't mean Big Ben can handle an extra game now. Go 17 weeks throwing the football the way he did last year and the way he usually does, throwing over and over and over. I feel like it's a trap. I feel like Big Ben looking really good in the preseason is a trap. I feel like it's a trap. I like it. It's good for Najee Harris. I'm rooting for it. I'm not against it. I'm not biasly against Big Ben doing well because I've said Deontay is going to get overdrafted. I still feel Deontay's got appeal and upside, but I like if Claypool were to stay healthy, which he may not, and that would open the door to Deontay, and I'd like Deontay more. But if Claypool stays healthy or relatively healthy, it's going to be hard for Deontay to be consistent if Big Ben's not playing at a high level all year long, which I, again, would not bet for in favor of. Is, I guess, basically what I'm saying. Alexander Madison, Chuba Hubbard. Darnell Mooney going in like the 11, 12 round range. Brian Edwards, if you hear me about anything, hear me this show. If you're going to listen to anything I'm saying, Marquez Callaway could be electric. I know we're excited about him. I'm confirming. I'm doubling down for you. Like, this could be even bigger than we expect. Marquez Callaway could be so much better than anybody's even expecting right now. He is so talented. Just looking at him play, watching him dominate the space around him, there are certain aspects about a fantasy football player and an NFL player that pop out to me on film over my 19 years of scouting. And yes, I consider myself a scout. I'm a fantasy football scout, but I've been doing it longer than a lot of people that have been scouting in the NFL because I've been doing it for 19 straight years from an NFL evaluation, NFL draft evaluation perspective. CBS and NBC Sports Radio, 19 straight years. Dropping bold predictions for you. By the way, that show is looking like it's dead. The longest fantasy football, or at least one of, some people have told me there's one that's as long. I've yet to hear it or see it, but one of, if not the longest running fantasy football radio show in the planet on NBC Sports Radio. It bounced between CBS and NBC Sports Radio. I've been on it 19 years. The show was in existence for 6-7 years before I. 23 or so years, 24, 23 years it has been going, and it's coming to an end because of the pandemic, unfortunately. Taking out something else. The pandemic just taking crap out left and right, because this was a 23 year in the making on-site location remote show at a local sports bar here in North Phoenix. 23 years it's been there. But when that got taken out or not taken a notch down, the show went away. Just like that. 23 years running on NBC Sports Radio or CBS, bounced back and forth. 23 years running like that. Gone. So disappointed about that. I'm really bummed about that. That's one of my favorite things each year is going on that radio show every single Wednesday night, talking fantasy football. Russ Bliss and I, and then Gary Davenport would go on Tuesdays. Man, that sucks. It really sucks. I might have Russ Bliss on here, though. Maybe we'll do a little alternative version of the Red Zone. But Red Zone going 23 years. Russ Bliss basically, like, I would say he was the first person to ever do daily fantasy on the radio show 23 years ago. Daily fantasy. You'd pick daily guys each week. It's crazy. And then daily fantasy took off. Doobie, what's up, Doobie? Doobie says, Snacks with the clan. Smitty was talking about you Thursday and having a show talking about how I'd pronounce your name. Seclan, where's Seclan? Smitty, what's up? Yeah, Seclan, I'm a little disappointed, bro. You haven't been here in quite some time. The nerve of you not to show up on the regular. Seclan, you are a part of this community, man. You have an obligation to be here with your snacks. And yeah, if everybody remembers me saying Seclan. I couldn't say his name at first. I was ashamed of myself. I worked on it constantly, and now I can say it. It just rolls off my tongue. Seclan. Gary with the super chat. Gary says, we want saying? Who do we want to win the starting QB job in Denver? I mean, here's the good news. I feel like we want Locke to go out there. He looks like he's doing pretty well with Jerry Jeudy. We want Locke to go out there, I think, and if he falters, I feel like Bridgewater, his best potential is from a perspective of coming in without looking over his shoulder. I think Bridgewater will probably have more success in that sense, and that's like a nice safety net for Jerry Jeudy and the Broncos offense. I don't know why the Broncos haven't been more aggressive with their quarterback acquisitions. Like, you've been looking for a quarterback for a while. You have a top 10 wide receiver in Jerry Jeudy. You have arguably another top 15 wide receiver in Courtland Sutton, but he's not healthy. Everybody coming at me saying, why do you like Jeudy over Courtland Sutton? Courtland Sutton's the wide receiver 1. Have you not seen this guy in practice running very tentatively on his knee still? He had a torn ACL. He's not back 100%. Even if he hits the field, he looks very tentative on his leg. In a brace, I saw him running. I'm sure he shook the brace loose by now, but he was not looking good, like near 100% like a month ago. So maybe he gets there, but ACL injuries are hard to come back from at 100%. I know that wide receivers have an easier time, people say, than a running back. Not always the case, because getting off the line and your brain talking to your ACL, like to your knee, telling yourself, it doesn't talk to your ACL directly, but your brain talks to your knee and it basically says move, and you have to reestablish a connection between your brain and your knee, and you can't tell your leg to move as quick as it used to. It's weird. I've torn my ACL, I know, and I literally be walking and be like, that's my turn. It's strange. It's strange. Now, he's been practicing hardcore rehabbing way harder than I did, although I was actively playing an intramural football in college when it happened. I was a pristine intramural college football athlete, I might add. And so I was training pretty hard at the time. But Courtland Sutton is probably working out a little bit harder than I was. And Courtland Sutton's probably over those humps a little faster than I was. You know what I'm saying? So Courtland Sutton probably is getting over that part quicker and is probably more on track with that. But the trust is crazy. The trust your first year out, you can't trust your leg. The best way I can describe an ACL injury is picture taking your knee. Here's your knee. Picture taking your knee and just sawing it in half. Ouch, right? Now set it back down. Don't connect it and just try and walk around on it. It's almost like standing on the top of a ladder. You know, when you get to the very top of the ladder, you're really imbalanced, and you literally, like, if you were to try and like push your basketball hoop up and stand on the top of your ladder, and the ladder would come out from under you, or you stand on a bucket and the bucket will come out from under you. That's literally how your leg feels when you tear your ACL. You come back from an ACL tear, you feel like it's been severed, and you're just balancing the two joints on, and it's going to slip out from under you. That's your fear. You plant when you tear your ACL, and when you cut hard on it, your initial fear for the first year is that it's going to slip off and just snap in half. It feels like your knee's going to go like this. That's exactly what happens with an ACL tear. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's really hard to get over. By the way, let me tell you a little story about that. I climbed on the ladder when I was younger, and like I tell you guys, I had a lot of concussions in my day. I climbed on a ladder. I literally went to the top of it trying to get the basketball hoop up all the way. And I was probably like 14 or 15 maybe. And I pushed the hoop up, and the ladder came out from under me. I fell off the top of a ladder on my head on the concrete, and I was lights out. I remember my mom was vacuuming. Mom was vacuuming in the house. I was laying there unconscious. I woke up. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed for a brief moment. It was so scary. I was sitting on the concrete, completely paralyzed, and I opened up my eyes, and I remember I couldn't move. I was so freaking scared. Don't do this at home. I was so freaking scared, and I was looking around, and I could barely talk, and I remember going, Mom, and she's just vacuuming and screaming and yelling, there's kids, there's shit all over the floor, just vacuuming over and over. And I'm literally trying to move, Mom. And I start moving my finger a little bit. I start moving my leg a little bit. I start getting the feeling back in my body. And I get up. I have a massive headache. And I just basically almost drag my body inside the house. I was crazy, bro. I've had injuries galore. I can't tell you all about it. You ever need to hear an analyst talk about falling off a ladder on their head? I've got you. I know what it's like. Tim with the 7. Welcome back, Clan. Thanks for the super chat, Tim boy. I appreciate you, bro. Smitty can still dunk, though. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I don't know if I could dunk right now. I probably can't. I think you might be referring to the 9-foot hoop that I jammed on IG. That was 9 feet. You got 2 super chats. Thank you, Clan. I think I got to them. I got Tim's, and I appreciate Tim. I got Clan's. Clan, been busy with work and this whole move to Phoenix, and Clan's in Phoenix. Clan, I know we gotta hook up, and you gotta join me on a live stream, maybe late at night. You meet me over at a certain location, and we'll do a little Q&A with Clan. People will get a kick out of that. Been busy with work, but fantasy is right around the corner. Got the 10th spot in a 12-man league. Also, where is James Devlin? I don't know where James Devlin is. I haven't seen James in a while. I also haven't seen, who were all the main names we had in the very beginning that have been MIA for a long time? What was his name? The guy that was on location when we did that live stream on location. I had 5 of the regulars in Phoenix show up. I'm blanking out on his screen name. He hasn't been here forever. He was like an OG from the start. Thank you, Clan, for the super chat. Thank you, Tim, for the super chat. Clan, it's good to have you here, my friend. Thank you, Silver. Terry Roberts. Everybody give a round of applause for Terry. Can I get some emojis? Terry's been here. Terry is now a legend here on the show. Terry, appreciate you, Terry. He wears his Take a Lap shirt in his emoji. Can you find more dedication than this man? No. The answer is no. Terry, you are a hero to the Fantasy Football Show. You are an extremely loyal and valuable commodity here. You are like a starter. You're a starter, bro. You're on the ones. You're running with the ones, bro. We appreciate you, Terry. Silver says, this is coming from our superstar mod. Okay, this guy, you can't get past Silver. Silver's like a bouncer. I picture Silver looking like, I don't know, some 6'5" bouncer. He's just sitting at the show entry point. That's Silver. Silver says, OG Terry. Antong says, hey Smitty. Oh God, we're over time. Hey Smitty, in the 6th spot, 12-man league, got the following in first 5 picks: Zeke, Carson, DK, Lamb, Kyle Pitts. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of Carson, but I love everything else, and I don't mind the value of Carson there. I guess I'd want to know who you passed on for Carson, and it might be the right pick. You're welcome, Terry. That's going to do it for today's show. We had a blast in here. We've had a lot of people in here. We've had over 100 to 130, 150, 100. We got to 160 live congruent viewers at one time, which is fantastic. If you could please punch the thumbs up on the way out. If you could tell your grandma, share the channel with everyone you know, that's much appreciated. And just so you know, when the video ends, I will comment to every comment that happens within the first 24 to 48 hours, because the video will kick off with 0 comments. The live chat is there, but 0 comments, and that's your chance to ask your question, because I need engagement for the video. So I want to reply to every comment. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, please get on over to Underdog. Use promo code Smitty. The best way to get there is to go to smitty1.com. This banner pops up. You click on it. You deposit $10, and then I call you. You get a phone call from me. You get $25 bonus cash. You get $25 bonus cash. Not to mention at Underdog Fantasy, you can play in the Best Ball Mania. And it's best ball is the best way to protect yourself into injuries and not have to worry about setting your lineup. And if you haven't done this yet, you get $25 bonus cash by depositing $10. So you'll have $35. If you're new, you got to have a new account. But you'll have a phone call from me. You'll have $35 to drop. And you'll also be playing, best ball in daily fantasy, which is fantastic. It's just a great way to continue your fantasy football season if things go awry, So get on over to Underdog Fantasy, use promo code Smitty. You've got to use promo code Smitty. The best way to ensure that is to go to smitty1.com, click on the banner on my site, which has the link, which fills in my promo code, which gets you their $10 deposit, gets you $25 bonus cash, which gets you a phone call from me. And there we go. Appreciate all of you. Check you later. Peace out. Later. Derek Lincoln, where have you been? Hold on a second. Derek, where have you been, bro? We haven't seen you in so long. This is it's nice seeing your avatar. It's nice seeing your name. I haven't seen you in so long. I feel like it's been forever. And you just casually slip in at the end, like I used to do in college. I just slip in at the end. This is what I do. I was creative. I think this is smart. I don't think this is me being laxed. I think this is me using my brain. In my bachelor degree, not my master's, but in my bachelor's degree, I didn't pay attention in school a lot. I'd read, I'd pass the test, but I wouldn't show up to class. And I would literally I'd target a class that had a stadium that was downward and the teacher's down below. And I'd literally show up 5 minutes before the end of class and I'd do this. And then I'd go like this. And then at the end of the class, they pass the attendance sheet around, and I'd grab that bad boy, I'd sign it, and then I'd deuce out right at the end of class. That's how I rolled. This is how I feel. Derek slips in to the end of the show as if he's been here the whole time, signs the attendance sheet, and then tries to leave. That's me right now, says Derek. Salute to you, Eugene. Okay, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. Derek, be here early next time, or at least halfway through, okay? Or you're going to be marked tardy. Plain and simple. Comment after the video ends.